Well, here's the thing. I spent the last 2 days of last week. You guys know I was in Phoenix up doing a class, and Mo Anderson was teaching and talking. And if you guys don't know who Mo Anderson is, Mo Anderson was the CEO of the company, the president and the chair, and she is the mother of our culture. So extremely high level of everything in KW. So one of the things Mo talked about that resonated a lot with me as I want to talk about this morning was standards. What are your standards? Well, let's start back with what Mo is, the mother of our culture. Our culture. What is culture? Someone give me the definition or what your definition of culture is, and we'll go from there. This is a participatory class. We're not just doing lectures today.
Shared beliefs, behaviors, or values.
Okay, I like that. Shared
collectively.
I like the shared aspect there. It's communicated to the community at large is what we expect, right? It's a predetermined way that we treat each other, period. Culture. And in that, we have standards of culture. But also, do we have standards of excellence, standards of proficiency, standards within ourselves? This is where today's mindset reset focuses on. Are your standards, one, in place, and two, being upheld? Most corporations have what they call an SOP, a standard of practice, around just about every type of endeavor that they have. They have an SOP around making phone calls. They have an SOP around, dress and code etiquette. They have an SOP around packing boxes. Big corporations take everything to that 10th degree to look into the small nuances of what they're doing, why they're doing, how they're doing, so that they can plug and play a new person in, and the standards don't change. But here we are, entrepreneurs, doing our own thing. What happens to your business if I remove you and put somebody else in that spot? Does your business thrive or die? Give me a head nod if you think it's going to thrive. Give me a head shake if you think it's going to die. Well, if you shook your head, then you do not have a standard of practice. You do not have a level of expertise or a level of expectation. You do not have a document pack that says, this is how we do things. This is our level of expectation or standards. We call that sometimes a get hit by a bus book. Because if you get hit by a bus, your business still needs to go on, but how are we going to get it there? So take some time to think about that. It's okay, what is my standard? What are the things that I do for every single deal? What are the things that I do in every single interaction? What are the standards that I uphold myself to? This is going to be a sit down, work on your business moment. Taking some time to answer the question, who are you in real estate? Taking a moment to identify what standards we represent. Now, one of the things Mo Anderson talks a lot about is the lack of use of profane language. Well, we all know I don't subscribe to the same doctrine of that. However, I get her point of view. There are opportunities to alienate people with certain language. There are opportunities to alienate people with certain behaviors. There are opportunities to alienate people with certain social media posts. Anthony, So, I still love you, bud. But here's the thing. We have a standard of practice for the people that we produce. Right? You usually do business with people that are like you, and the people like you accept you for who you are. But just like any pond, sometimes it feels too small. So you've got to grow beyond it. So you've got to attract value to a different sphere of influence. And that may be a higher level of excellence, a higher level of standards. But you're like, Dan, I don't know what to do. I don't want to rewrite my entire life or my entire business, or I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start off with, do you have a list, a checklist, a follow-through list, a work list of what you do in every transaction? I'll tell you, a majority of lawsuits that happen in real estate is because something was forgotten. A disclosure wasn't given, expectations weren't met, things weren't written down. Start there. What are your levels of expectation? What do you do every deal? Write it down. If you don't have it written down, go find a checklist. Go build the checklist. That way you have something that's repeatable. If every single day you're making a different meal from scratch off the creativity, are you going to run out of things to do? Yeah, real fast. But if every single day you sit down and you have a plan, okay, I need this ingredient because I'm going to make this and meal this week. So I have everything set up and prepped. Is life easier? Standards keep us sane. A simple way to expose this to you is, are you the type of person that keeps your home clean? Or do you go and clean up your home when it gets messy? I'm not going to make you answer that out loud. People that tend to be tidy, keep their places up and have everything in order and have things in place, do so to keep it that way, right? As they walk through the hall, if there's something on the ground, they pick it up or they address the issue. Other times people go, man, Sunday I've got to deep clean the house because it's messy. Because 5 days of the week, they just trash it and then they clean it up 1 day of the week. We can see that in business also. Anyone ever seen the roller coaster analogy in real estate? That's the expectation of lead generation, and then I'm going to do it one day. Hey, I got to lead generate. I'm not going to do it today. It's the same thing. Is either we're trying to keep our business clean, or we're cleaning it as it gets messy. That's a standard you set for yourself. I think it's a good thing to take time off. Fresh horses win races. But far too often, we're taking time off every single day. What's your standard? Your standard is, I have 2 appointments set every day before I stop. And if you uphold that standard, what does your business look like? My standard is that I get back to people within X amount of hours when they have a question. Or I follow up with all of my leads by this amount of time, right? There's a standard that you set for yourself. And it might be as simple as, I wake up every day at this time. And this is what I do in the morning. My routine. Because once we've set a routine, we've set a standard, we've created a plan around it, now we can start building a culture. And if we have high enough standards, high enough level of expectation, do we not ourselves raise the bar to become more, to do better? Like moths to a flame, you will attract more opportunities when you brighten yourself. Not that any of you are dark and gloomy, but I want you to look at, what standards are you allowing? What standards are missing? Did you send out a purchase contract with an item missing, or a checkbox unchecked, or an initial missing? Or do you take a third chance to go through that document to make sure it's right before you send it? That's a simple standard. When we allow simple mistakes to slide through the cracks, what does that look like to the other side? Does that look like we have high standards or no standards? Now, I get it. We get busy and things fall through the cracks, but if it's a consistency thing, now I can tell you your culture. The culture of your business is lackadaisical. I receive offers all the time that I review, and I can tell by that offer, the email that it comes through, how the email attachments are, and the documents inside, what type of agent I'm working with. And I see Jim's face kind of like, yeah, I get it. But Jim, does that not show us the standards of the agent we're working with?
If there's a bunch of stuff that I've got to counter, I get immediately suspect. And not counter for, negotiative purposes, but countering for clarification because it wasn't clear. It wasn't well written.
This is a level of standard. Every one of us, myself included, should be challenged to do more, to do better, to improve upon our abilities every single day. And that's a standard of excellence. It's growth. Every day, find something to do better at. Read a book, listen to a podcast, go sit in a room with people that are smarter and more advanced than you are. Become better. But then break it all the way down to the basic stuff. How do I send my documents? How do I write my emails? What's my signature sign off? What is my first snap judgment going to look like to the person I'm working with? I got an email offer on Sunday from one of our listings that the listing agent, the buyer's agent, sent me the offer and all the attached documents through DocuSign. Just Like it was automatically sent to me after the buyer signed. No email, no greeting, no salutation, nothing that sets up a relationship between me and that agent. It was just them going, the system sent you an offer. Then on the other side, there's no confirmation. Hey, did you get the email? Did you get the offer? Where are we at? 12 hours later, nothing. Now I know I have an agent that doesn't care or doesn't know. So there's a level of standard there. So when we're sitting down and we're looking at our businesses, that's that same level of standard I want you to look at is, okay, how do I want to be perceived? Answer the question, who am I in real estate? No other time in history has our value been challenged as much as it is right now. By a show of hands, who's seen a social media post somewhere, somebody making satire or a joke around this new commissions thing? Have you gone back and read the comments? There's comments in there, people being like, oh, it's so funny that you realtors are scrambling for stuff now. You're going to be obsolete. You're going the way of the travel planners, travel agents, right? You're going to go the way of travel agents. They don't need you. This can be done by AI. This can be done by Amazon. Well, that's because there's a group of people out there that feel like you are worthless. Because so many agents out there are just winging it. They don't have a level of standard that they're being held to. And as a broker, my job is to keep you out of jail. My job is to keep you licensed. My job is to set a level of expectation that I want you to run to. And Keller Williams is a brokerage over that sets the level of standard for all of our agents. I can tell you that the people that I see on this call day in and day out have a higher level of ability and hold themselves to a higher standard than 90% of the people outside this company. If I ever get an offer that like I got yesterday from a KW agent, I don't care what office they're out of, I will call that agent directly and I will have a conversation about standards because we're a family, right? It's because we all are held to a higher standard. I don't want any of us to ever have to argue our value. I want people to come to you because of your value. And that comes when you sit down and you set expectations for yourself. This is how I'm going to do it. This is where I'm going to do it. This is why I'm going to do it. And this is how I do it every single time. Because every single time you do it the exact same way, if something goes off the rails, we can fix one little thing, get it back on the rails. But if every single time you're coming up with a different approach, a different advantage, getting creative about it, there's too many variables to change. There's too many things to look at. So again, answer the question today. Who are you in real estate? Are you the fun agent that just goes with the flow and it is what it is? Or do you come in with a very professional approach and you make it easy to do business? Are you the type of agent that will stand on your sword and say, I made a mistake, let me fix it? Or are you the one that closes the door and hides in the dark? Twice this weekend, I got phone calls from my agent saying, hey, I'm having a real hard time getting a hold of this lender or this person or this. Can you help? And I pick up the phone, call them up. They answer first thing. My first words are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm fine. What's going on? I was like, well, because so-and-so and so-and-so tried to call you and you didn't answer. And that's not like you. Do you think that made that lender or that other, agent feel bad when I called them out on their standard and said, hey, your standard is you answer the phone, but 2 of my agents have tried to call you and you didn't answer. Are you okay? What's going on? When I know your standard, I will hold you to it. Just like I expect people to hold me to mine. Let me ask this question. When you guys can't get a hold of me, are you worried? I am almost impossible not to get a hold of. But that's my standard, is I'm there for you. When things go wrong, my standard is we're going to get it fixed, whatever it takes. My standard is keep your house clean, not try to clean it up as things get out of hand. I'm a big believer in an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Anyone ever heard that before? Right? It's better to get ahead of it, an ounce of prevention, than spend a ton of energy trying to fix it. Now, it's kind of tough with 5 kids because I've got 6 people working against me. However, I just know that that's my strife, my Sisyphean fit. I have to pick up after them, and as I go, I just got to train them. But for myself, my standard is as it needs, it gets done, or get it done before it's a need, because an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So where else in our lives, in our careers, in our business, should we be setting standards?
Personal life,
Okay, our personal life. Tell me more.
personal growth, and working on yourself and become a better person. And I think it reflects in your business to the discipline, showing
like-
up for yourself,
I love that. Say that again.
showing up for yourself,
Again.
showing up for yourself.
I think a lot of us could hear that again and again and again. You got to show up for yourself. Because after all, you're doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not in your business every day. I'm not at your couch, or I'm not at your desk, or I'm not at your table lead generating for you. I'm here in the morning to get you some ideas so that for the next 23 and a half hours of the day, you can go do something for yourself. So show up for yourself. Having a high standard for your personal life is going to affect your professional life, because we know as leaders that we cannot advance our business beyond the extent of our personal development. It's called the law of the lid. If I, the leader, have a very narrow lid, a short, shallow lid, you guys are going to run into it. Very few of you are going to break through the lid that I set. So I constantly have to be developing and growing and making the lid higher and higher and higher. So let's look at Keller Williams, right? We are all Keller Williams agents. We love KW. If you hate KW, that's fine. You're still here. You love me, and I'm good with that. But Keller Williams has bigger and bigger and bigger lids. Such big environments that we have agents that are rated as the top agent in the country underneath that lid. But it only comes from us having a higher standard. Now, I'll tell you, we go to these events, and I sat there in the room with Mo Anderson, and she wasn't talking about real estate. She wasn't there. You got to do buyers and sellers, and you got to do these open houses and door knocking. No, you know what she was talking about? Self-accountability. She was talking about personal development. She was talking about having a standard of no drama. Some of us love drama, right? I'm all about. I love trash TV. It's one of my freedom things with my wife and I. We do it sparingly. But I wouldn't let that shit happen in my life. I wouldn't allow people to be talking about me like that in real life. No. No drama. No drama in the workplace. No drama ever. It's personal development, not professional development we need to focus on. When you set expectations for yourself in the realm of personal advancement, everything follows. When you do everything for professional development, your personal life fails. And what happens when your personal life fails? Doesn't everything kind of go to crap? So set standards for yourself. Who am I? That's a great question. It's a tough question, because we really don't know who we are until we ask others. Because we all have a muddled self-image. We all do. Because you're the only one that has all the behind the scenes footage. So go ask 5 people that you really like and 5 people that you really don't, and kind of, see, who am I? How do you view me? Go get some real candid and potentially hurtful feedback. Because the best thing you can do is burn your hand on the stove. And why do I say that?
Because then you won't let it happen again.
Did you hear that? I love those words. You won't let it happen. Yes, things can happen to you that are out of your control. Absolutely. 100%. There is no denying that. We have in our lives stuff that's going to happen to us that we have no control over. However, we can also create an environment that our standards are so high, we don't allow those people around us that are going to hurt us. So go ask for that feedback. Go find out what standards are you upholding or not. Take a self-inventory today. What standards would you like to put in place? If you're the type of person that has to clean up their business every couple of days because you let it get to shit and you do that cycle, right? What would it look like to be more proactive? Go out there and find that prevention instead of trying to bring bucket loads of cure. I love you all. Have a great Monday. Big high five.